was wondering about.
I have one topic about the March meeting conversation. So,
okay.
just to follow up from last month, so we talked last month about doing a survey of residents to talk through whether or not we continue with zoning and ordinance enforcement and all of that. I think at that meeting, we were thinking that it may have been a good idea to put that up for the public open meeting. But just following up and looking into our actual ordinance, that really isn't allowed or permitted in this case. So we do have to go, we actually would have to ask our zoning board to do a survey, basically of the town, to get their feedback on whether or not we continue with planning, zoning, and code enforcement. So I think if it's something that we want to pursue, if we really want to follow through with what we said we were
Is
going
that a
to do.
public hearing then?
Would it just be an open, well, I think the planning board would meet and discuss how they survey the residents.
Right,
basically.
this is leading into my second.
It would be at a normal planning board meeting. It wouldn't be a special meeting that would cost us anything more to refer it back to planning.
First of all, I don't think there's anything chiseled in stone one way or the other to say it'd have to be this way, that way, or any other way. I can give you, off the top of my head, kind of an opinion. I think it's not a decision for me, it's a decision for the planning commission. The planning commission, by statute, is anything that changes, and repealing is also called changing. So it wouldn't be just changing the wording or repealing zoning. Anything that affects zoning by state law has to be studied first by the planning commission. They would send a report back to the town board of what their study was. And there's any number of ways we could hold a public hearing. We could develop a survey that we'd mail to people that they could answer questions. I think the last meeting you raised the idea of getting the word out there better about county zoning. So if we got rid of our zoning, what would the county do? And that could be a part of the questionnaire, is, explaining. So I don't know, in the idea of doing a questionnaire, and that's just, again, that's my idea, that's not the planning commission's. I'm a step ahead of myself. If it sounds like I'm saying that's what we should do, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm saying what my thoughts are. I'm only one of 5 people on the planning commission.
But essentially what we would do tonight is we would
Decide whether to just drop it.
Yep.
Or let
Order
the
the
planning,
planning commission
authorize
study.
the planning commission to meet to do a study, but then the planning commission would then decide how to do a study, which could be, a public meeting, could be a questionnaire, could be something else I'm not thinking of.
That'd be one meeting.
It would be whatever the planning commission decides they want to do. The planning commission's in the driver's seat as far as doing the study.
but they would be open meetings, they wouldn't be closed meetings.
Yeah, they'd be open meetings, but, another one, maybe the planning commission would want to have Kelly come out and talk about county zoning. Or, there's, the table's open to how this would, I don't know how it would work. I'm just trying to spout off maybe this, maybe that, maybe something
I
else.
think you're maybe a few steps ahead of, the first step would be us instructing the planning board to meet and study the issue. And the planning commission, all 5 members would vote on how they choose to.
What procedure they
Yep.
want to go.
Whether they call an open meting for the public to come, anybody can come who lives here or owns property here. and
Well,
talk
our
about
meetings
it.
are all open anyways.
Right.
Yeah, but if
Or
you had
special
somebody
meeting, yeah,
that could
special.
say, well, this is what the county does and this is what the township
Yep.
does. So
It-
that people have something to look at or think about or whatever, something, I don't care if it's in a survey or whatever. But, you guys.
So the planning commission is going to run a study now on whether they should keep the planning commission.
No, whether we should keep the zoning.
Just zoning.
Okay, so if we get rid of zoning, doesn't planning commission go too?
No,
No.
What would be the use of planning then?
We also have a nuisance ordinance, which is a different ordinance.
You get rid of zoning, you don't get rid of nuisance. Nuisance stays.
But we could also instruct the board to study both.
Yeah, it's just that when it comes to zoning, there's actually a state law that requires it. When it comes to nuisances, the board can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
Bobby's shaking the table pretty good, dude.
Todd, I think to answer your question though, like if the residents overwhelmingly said, get rid of zoning, get rid of nuisance, that went back to planning. Planning referred it, I think you'd have to do what you call a finding of fact, right? And essentially come back to us saying, here's what we found based on our study. Then the board takes action from there.
Well, that'd be kind of like having the fox, you know, and look at the fox. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, nobody on this board thinks, well, Cheryl is, but Cheryl's not a voting member of this board. Nobody on this board is part of the planning commission, so.
It's a slippery slope.
I get it.
It's a slippery one here,
It's
man.
kind of the process, though, that it has to go through.
Yeah, fact-finding issue.
Right.
Essentially, yeah, it's a fact-finding mission.
That's what the planning commission is. It's a fact finding. They don't make the decisions. They find the fact, they go through, decide the facts, bring the facts to the board, and then it's the town board that makes the decisions.
And when are the planning commission meetings?
Good question.
Well, on pause temporarily, but they're quarterly. First month of each quarter, January, April, July, October.
So is that something that?
Yeah, the reason, the biggest reason for the you know, the quarterly, but not necessarily, is there's this 60-day rule.
Okay.
So if we would get, for example, an application for a subdivision of land right immediately, like 2 days after a planning commission, we wouldn't meet again for 90 days. So we gotta meet again just to keep the state laws happy about the 60-day rule.
Sure.
You know, just in a pragmatic world, you know, beyond the quarterly 4 meetings, you know, the planning commission has to have a regularly published schedule, just like the town board does. So because the amount of business we have, you know, a board long ago decided on 4 meetings, so we live with that.
So the next scheduled meeting though will be first Wednesday in April?
Well,
The next regular
that was
schedule.
part of my clarification. Were you putting the planning commission on pause, or, I mean,
no,
you
just
can't put zoning on pause. If we
No.
get an application for a subdivision, we have to handle
No,
it.
what we talked about last month was pausing the ordinance updates.
You're right,
Not,
exactly.
we
That's,
can't, like you said, there's a 60.
To revise.
Right, the revised ordinance update.
okay,
But
so
that-
our next regularly scheduled planning commission would be the first Wednesday of April.
And my concern is that this doesn't just keep going on and on and on.
Mine
That
too.
There's a decision, it goes to the board, and this is not something that goes on for 5-6 months. I mean, you know, there should be a way to handle this where the process is succinct and moves on.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we don't want to wait 2 months, then the planning commission would call a special meeting to talk
Yeah.
about the study.
Yeah, how to schedule,
Yeah,
you know.
a special meeting to talk about the
I
study.
mean, the quicker we start, the quicker we get it done.
Right, because we're gonna, if you choose to send out a survey, you're gonna have to give landowners time to respond more than a day or 5 days, so, I mean, I think the process built in, and this might just me being optimistic idealist, but minimum 3 months before we have any.
I think we should do it in 3 months. I don't really see, I mean, I appreciate your comment, Lynn, I'm not, you know, whatever, but I don't think there's gonna be any prolonging, you know, I don't think anybody wants to prolong this thing.
All right,
But it seemed pretty clear at the last meeting that people wanted a say in zoning. And if we wanna pursue that, we can't just open it up at the annual meeting. It's not one of the 7 outline topics that can't even be discussed.
Right. And then just so we're clear, zoning isn't the issue, it's a nuisance ordinances. Just so everybody knows
Yep,
that.
yep.
Nuisance days.
and it's up to you guys to make this happen, you know, to keep it rolling, not let it just keep going forever.
Well, right now, we need to, you know, this meeting, we need to get stuff ready for the annual meeting. We gotta start doing this too.
But I'd like to talk about my agenda request, which wraps into this right here too. And if you want to do it now, we can do it now since we're here.
Go ahead, Sweden.
Okay, well, I asked when the board approved of him revising the ordinances. What meeting and who voted on it? It's a really straightforward question, and that's what's got us into this point right here. Of pausing him revising it. In the last video that I watched, you know, I combed through them, You were telling me the fact finding and he don't this and that, and I don't, I don't know where you were going with that, Jan, but I was asking when that vote was made. He is an unelected bureaucrat. He's not part of the voting board or body. He cannot order this up and do whatever he wants, like a blank check, without a vote from you guys. He can't do it.
He's doing fact finding, he wasn't
He
doing
can't do it.
his-
You guys have to take a vote on something that's gonna cost $5-6 grand. It's a vote that the supervisors do have to take on this.
Can I answer this?
Please, because I think there was a vote.
I looked through all the minutes here that you posted up there. There's not one motion made in the minutes.
There's 3 of them.
There's not 3 of them.
Can you?
There's not 3 of them.
Can I answer you?
You lie a lot.
Todd,
You lie a lot,
Todd,
Brewster. I don't wanna take your word for nothing.
Bob, tell the board what you want him to do.
I gave the board a list. I was trying to just answer.
Can I get an answer to my
So, could be
question?
allowed
And
to
he's
talk.
hijacked me once again. Now I gotta be quiet.
yes,
I'm asking for a plain
you can be
answer.
quiet
I'm asking
right
for a
now.
real answer. What meeting did you guys, what meeting did you guys make a motion on that?
Bob knows the information.
Bob has the answer.
Bob said November. It's not on November. Tell me where it is. I'll look it up right now. I have the minutes
It
sitting in
was
front of
actually
me.
before November.
2003 and 2004 minutes sitting right
All
here.
right,
Cheryl says it's before November.
Before November.
I don't
Okay,
remember.
well,
I looked through all the
Okay,
minutes.
All right, we heard you, now that's.
I have them
All
here.
right, be quiet now, I heard you.
Okay, but this is the
Just be
second
quiet.
meeting now that I'm asking
Would you
this.
be quiet, so other people can talk?
We had a month to figure this
Would
out.
you be quiet so
Yeah.
other people, then do it?
A month. Can I get an answer, please?
from the last town board meeting 1 month ago, I went home and went through the minutes of the last 2 years of town board meetings. It's documented in the minutes of 8 of the last 16 town board meetings, the different aspects of developing a new zoning ordinance were brought by me to the board.
Motion.
There was a discussion. 3 of those 8
Motion.
occurrences, there was a motion. I do not know. I believe that May of '23 was one of them.
They made a motion to do it now?
Yeah, to set us in
Revise it in
progress. And then it
24?
had to do, there was,
They
you
made a
know,
decision in 23
Todd.
to do it in 24?
You're getting out of line here now.
I'm
Just-
trying to make sense of this, Jan, and none of this makes any sense here. I'm being haved now.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
I'm asking you to be quiet now.
I'm asking for a simple answer, and this guy gives me a bunch of garble. Last year now.
It's pretty
Last
straightforward, what I
meeting
just
was
said.
November. The last meeting it was November. Derek even said November, after Bob said it. I don't know if he was agreeing with Bob or,
No, I said I'm not sure. when it
okay,
was.
but I'm just trying to clarify here. He said in November, and it's not there. Now he's
you weren't
saying
here
May
in
of
November.
20.
You don't have a film of November.
I got the minutes, Bob. I got the minutes. No motion,
Todd,
Bob.
come on,
No
come on,
motion.
Todd. Come
Right,
on,
but at
Todd.
the November
So did
meeting,
Bob-
my
did Bob-
neighbor
Would
was-
you be pleased
Did
to
Bob
listen?
run
That's
amok
enough.
without a vote being made now? Is
That's
that what you're
enough.
saying?
No,
Nobody's saying that.
Well, when, can you guys please clarify this for me? What?
I just did, Todd.
What month?
We talked about it 8 times and voted on it 3
Bob,
of
I'm
those
not
8
talking to you.
Todd,
You do not run the
times.
board,
Board
Bob.
asked me to answer. I'm
The
one
board
that
did not
researched
ask you
it.
to
I'm
answer.
the
Every
one that
time you
knows
give
what
us
the
a
answer
different
is.
answer every month.
Todd,
To be clear, the board.
Todd,
Every
you're
month.
Todd, you're getting disruptive.
I'm being
You're
played with
getting
here.
Disruptive.
I asked a simple question.
And you were getting an answer, but you don't let him talk. We asked
You
him to
don't
answer
like
the
the
question.
answer, so you
He
keep
said
going.
last year.
That's enough.
No.
23, May of 23. Come on now, that ain't
Todd,
gonna
would
work.
you be
He said
quiet?
8 out of the last 16 meetings it was mentioned, and it was voted on 3 times.
It was voted on 3 times. Said, what 3 meetings were they voted on now?
I don't know, Bob, do you know?
Not out of my head.
Well, come on, this is all, come on now, I just asked a
What?
simple
You
So
got
question.
your answers.
what is your problem?
I didn't get an answer, they're not answers.
What is your problem?
I wanna know when the board made a motion to give him the authority to write it in 2024.
The
Why is
exact
that
answer-
such a problem?
2024.
Jen, I can have the exact answer to that single question, which is the only question we're gonna address here, April 12th, 2023.
Thank you.
That they were gonna do this and they made a motion?
That's enough.
I was not part of the board, but the.
I'll look it up right now. I got them sitting.
No, we need to
Can I
get
finish
somebody
off
for the.
Quickly, please.
Oh, yeah, right, we did.
Nope, hold on.
Bob's not done yet.
Oh, okay.
So to finalize this whole thing then is, are you gonna do anything tonight about resuming the planning commission? Or you gonna leave that like for the March meeting, or what's your,
I intend to make a motion about instructing the planning commission to study whether.
Tonight.
Tonight.
okay,
I have a question.
that's all I wanna know, thank you.
No, there wasn't any
There was-
specific
there was a-
date set.
Now that is a whole different conversation. That was never voted on.
That was never voted
It
on.
was discussed but not voted on.
What was your motion, Brad? I can't.
He hasn't done it.
I haven't done it yet.
All right, okay. I didn't, that's.
So there was never a date set. It was to when everybody felt like they needed, you know, that it was enough information that one could take over.
Well, that's up for.
And then yeah, so, okay, so it was at the last meeting, there was a motion that was to resume until, because then we had nobody. Until something is, you know, somebody else wants to step up, and we need we need somebody to do it, because there's gonna be zoning and permits and stuff coming up before long, so we have to have somebody there to do it. So right now, we're back to where Bob is gonna have to do it until
He doesn't wanna do it.
he doesn't wanna do it, or somebody
Well,
steps
or-
up and,
Or if or until the planning commission finds in their study that there's no interest in doing it anymore as a township.
Right.
Which is a potential outcome.
Correct.
Okay, well, I'm looking at this right now and this does not, there's no
would you
motion
be
here.
quiet?
There's no motion, Jan.
That's fine.
There's no motion. Bob runs around, does what Bob wants to do, whatever Bob wants to
Be
do.
quiet, Todd. You are getting disruptive. Do you wanna have to leave?
Well, I'd hate you to have to call the sheriffs out here just to get your
They
way.
won't come, only the ambulance will.
I mean, honestly,
Then honestly, be quiet.
this is not a motion.
Todd, they won't come.
It's not a motion. They'll come for these guys.
No, only the ambulance will come, apparently.
They'll come for these guys. I mean, I'm just asking for a simple question.
Yes,
I'm giving you one.
I would like to ask the board to please make a decision on whether the planning and zoning is going to continue without the ordinances, and make a decision, please, that Bob would run it and do this survey. Would you guys please make a decision on that?
Yes.
Thank you.
what you say, because you
I'm just thinking of how to word my motion. It takes more than 2 seconds.
Right, so before the meeting is adjourned.
So, let me just write something down, but I'm gonna just write it down so I make sure I have everything covered.
Nothing has been decided one way or another. Personally, I think that it would be a big mistake.
He's making a mistake.
I'm just saying, my personal opinion is, I think it would not be a good idea to get rid of zoning. If we got rid of zoning, we would have that 300 lot.
That's not what I said.
I know, but I heard what you're saying too. But I would just say, my opinion is, I think it would be a mistake to get rid of zoning.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, who's gonna run zoning, Bob? He ran us into the ground.
Not with zoning.
Well, with all the other nuisance
That's
running
different
around,
than
and
zoning.
I mean, the guy does nothing but lie.
See, that's the whole thing.
He does nothing but lie.
That's the whole thing, what they're gonna try to decide is to get rid of the nuisances. And
Well, we're
keep-
trying to get somebody that's fair and not gonna sit and lie to us.
And keep
Nobody has
zoning
been lying
and
to you.
keep planning in there, but to try to get rid of the nuisances.
He was voted off the board.
The
He
nuisance
still
is
sits here.
costing us, the township, so much money that we have to at least try to take one thing at a time and maybe get rid of the nuisance so that we're not spending that money there.
I agree. Our problem is right here. You don't treat us right, and it's a real bad situation.
Todd,
He lies constantly. The board sticks up for him. He gets away with murder. He can do whatever he wants. He can write up, rewrite the ordinances whenever he wants.
You're getting out of hand.
Are you saying this dude can do whatever he wants is what you said?
Be quiet right now, so we can get our business done.
There's no vote motion made for him, what he did, that's on pause right now. There's no motion. So why even pause it? I'm gonna just let him run amok like he does. Blank checks.
Todd, that's enough.
Well, that's what we put up with the zoning guy here.
You're
Yeah.
the one that's making all the noise. Now be
He's been
quiet.
voted off the
Be quiet.
board. He was voted off. And where does this sit with Walt? Walt, are you, you're done? You're not being trained in as a zoning?
You about this last month, you know.
So you're done. I'm just asking you again for clarification.
Todd,
Are we stuck with this guy over here?
it's getting to be disruptive.
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking a couple questions here.
I make a motion that Todd
Well,
is getting to be
is he
disruptive
still
to
on
this
the-
meeting.
is
Now,
he
if
still
you don't be
zoning?
quiet, you're going to leave. Todd,
I'll be quiet, but
then
is he
be
still,
quiet.
is he still being trained in or no?
He resigned.
So that's a waste of money too, right there then, right? Waste of time and
Would you
money.
be quiet?
So that's our fault, that Walt.
Well, I don't know. I'm not the one that made the deal and set this all up. This guy right here lies all through his teeth. He lies.
We're done. It's enough, Todd.
Says
We're
people
done.
blow
We're done.
job, brings
We're
them to
done,
court. Oh, I never said that.
Todd, be quiet.
Never said it.
We're moving on.
Well, yeah, I know you're gonna move on.
Todd,
This is the whole problem.
you pick up your camera and leave.
I'm not picking my camera up and
Be
leave.
quiet.
You can't even give me an answer to my question.
73261 Markville
Can you
Road.
do what you were gonna do before he gets started?
I'll get to it. We will get to it. We'll get to it before.
Joe.
They were gonna, he was gonna.
Yeah, but he wasn't ready yet, Lynn. He said that 3
He
times.
did call me up, right?
Yes.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, anyway, clarity is everything, thanks, it was going good till 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Anyway,
Fucking
One
Bob's
thing,
still running the
what-
show.
One more and you'll be asked to leave, Todd. If you don't leave, we'll call the police and have them.
Yeah, I'm
remove
sure
you.
you will, Derek.
Yes, I will.
Amazon balls. Yeah.
That's it. You're being disruptive, you are to leave.
Well, I don't get no answers to my question. I get told
Now.
to leave. Shut up.
You are to leave now.
This guy right here does everything. He's still running, you guys.
Do we have
He was voted off the board
a trespass?
last March. Last March, he was voted off the board. Here he sits. He don't even have to, you guys won't even make a motion for him to rewrite the ordinances. He can do it whenever he
We
wants.
just need a motion. He's already done, he's got it.
No, this is.
No, I'm done, but I'll tell you what, this is BS here.
The actual trespass that we give one to the deputy.
Yeah, well, we need a motion, though.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I make a
Call him
motion-
out here,
I make a
yup.
motion that-
911, Bob's running the show.
I'm gonna,
Disruptive to this
I'm
meeting.
not even gonna, I'm done. I get wound up and that throws me into a sink. and this
Fucking
won't work.
Bob's
Ask
meeting.
a simple question. Well, next time, so thanks for
Okay,
trying to provide
Yeah, that's
that.
not your motion.
okay. And,
The two of us need to vote here, so it's.
Hey,
yeah, okay, fine.
I mean, I just asked a simple question. Is Walt still on the training in, or is he just sitting here for nothing? Acting, or I don't know what to think here anymore.
Chad, I also motion that we put the meeting into recess until Todd is voluntarily or involuntarily removed from the meeting due to disruptions.
I second that motion.
Pause it up. This guy's winner chicken dinner, does whatever he wants. By all rights, this guy shouldn't even be still sitting here. Do you guys make a motion for him to be the zoner again?
Yes, we did it last meeting.
Well, you realize the guy sits here and lies.
Can you make this,
Got a treasurer we never seen, don't come around, don't show up to no boards of audit, no nothing.
Can't you pose
Well, what do we get here? You? We get this guy lying to our face.
What are you?
Hey, he said the lady's blowing the judge, and I got the video of him saying he said it, and the video saying he didn't say it. Yeah, don't pay attention to me. I mean nothing over here.
The meeting is in recess and will not be resumed.
Okay. They're on their way, 911?
We put the meeting in recess.
Did you tell them it's do or die out here? Really, guy threatening you guys with questions? Well, it'd be nice to have a functioning board other than a bunch of BS. Now, last April, 2023. 2023. Yeah, that's when you guys voted to have them do it. Come this fucking March meeting, I'm going to tell you guys, man, I'm going to tell everybody sitting here all this stuff this guy does. He shouldn't be here. Your pet, Bob Brewster, BJ Brewster, right here. Guy that says Claudia Johnson's blowing the judge. There's no motion of you guys giving this guy any authority to rewrite the ordinances. None. Last year ain't gonna cut it. I don't know how you guys are gonna work all that out.